Hello, my friends. It's Laura Victoria Ward here, and I am inviting you to join me. Join me now with some role play. And by role play, I mean getting down on the ground and rolling around. So a lot of us have forgotten how to be on the floor. And I was just watching this live by Stop Chasing Pain. It's Dr. Perry Nicholson. He's the lymph doctor. And the other person is Ryan Rose Evans, who just had the live, which was an interview. And they ended up talking basically about the developmental patterns at the end and how our nervous system really loves to move on the floor and how we sort of lose that possibility as we get older. We lose the capacity to get down to the ground and how hard it can be to roll. And one of the things, right now I'm doing a push-pull pattern, which is like one of the developmental patterns. Once babies are kind of getting a little bit more advanced, they start to learn to push-pull. But another thing is the way the eyes move around. So movement of the eyes. It can bring in a sense of wonder. I think even Susan Harper from Continuum talks about that sense of wonder. But it also can initiate our movement. When my eyes take me somewhere, I'm curious to maybe move toward that thing. In Laban, we call that spatial intent. I see something, ooh, there's that thing, I want it, I move towards it. And when we have spatial intent, our movement tends to be more integrated movement. So I am moving and rolling, and just kind of sliding around on the floor, feeling what it is to be relating to gravity this way, so that it's kind of a dance between my tissues and the gravitational pull of the earth. And I tend to be a bit of a speed demon, so maybe for you, slower is going to be better, where you can just take your time. So the invitation is to come down onto the floor. If you need padding, then use padding. If initially it's more comfortable to do this on a bed, then do that. But eventually we want to move into the place where we can sort of contact the floor. Our partner is the floor. We have this sense of connecting to the gravitational pull of the earth and allowing our body, our bones, our cells, our fascia to rest into that. So we have this sense of motion. Motion. It puts the lotion in the motion. And when we learn how to have this kind of capacity to move, we did when we were little, we learned how to move this way. And then we probably spend a great lifetime of being seated and being still. So movement, pushing, pulling, rocking down on the floor are sort of primal movements that we learn as babies. And we continue to develop once we start to get into, so let's just go through them really quick. The first one is sort of breath support. Feeling a sense of the support of my breath. Deep breathing. A lot of detoxification comes in our exhale. So if we can start to let go of some of that stuff, it will be helpful for us. The invitation is to come down onto the floor and move on the floor. And this is an invitation that is sort of an investment in being able to move for the rest of your life more easily than if you don't re-establish a relationship with the floor. So I'm talking about breath support. Hey, Gowan, I hope you are well. Breath support is the most deep level of support. We come out of the womb. What's the first thing we do? We take a breath. People know we're alive because we're breathing. The doctor knows we're alive because we've taken that breath. That's our first most important thing. And breathing deeply, breathing well is going to be one of the most healthful things we can do for our whole life. So I'm inviting you to join me on the floor, tuning into that first developmental pattern. And I'm just continually rolling and moving. Because it feels good to me, but also to create this relationship. It's hydrating my tissue. I am also stimulating my nervous system. And maybe this is too much. Maybe just a little bit of movement. Maybe just a little bit of even laying there with your head turning from side to side. That might be enough. Or rolling slowly from one side to the other. That might be enough. So this is really personal, whatever works for you. So our first pattern is that breath support pattern. Yes. And that is our first underlying breath support. Without breath support, we have no core support. We have no grounding. We have no other support. Second thing we start to be able to do is find this core distal relationship. So reaching out to the edges, center to periphery, middle to fingers, or even head, top of the tail, fingertips, toes, sort of reaching out and in. And babies do that usually in a fairly amorphous way, and a lot of it is very eye driven. Babies can't see very far, but what's in their near kinesphere they can see and reach to. So there's the reaching and then the desire often to put it into your mouth, to try things on. How does that toe taste? I'm not going to pluck my toe, so for all you fetishists out there, sorry. But babies want to know. And then the next pattern that we start to get, let's get a little bit more advanced, is upper versus lower. Push, pull. This is actually, we're at head tail before we get to upper versus lower, push, pull. And the head tail pattern is this relationship of our spinal movement, head to tail. We can move laterally, we can twist, we can arch and curl. So these are the possibilities. We can do all sorts of dimensional movement as well, or multi meaning three-dimensional movement, where we're shifting in the dimensions with our head-tail connection. A lot of time when you see babies, and you can tell that they're getting ready to go to the bathroom and they're making all sorts of squishy moves with their torsos, getting their guts all going. So this head-tail connection is also going to mobilize our guts a little bit, which, hydrate tissue, mobilize guts, get things going and alive. So first thing, breath support. Second thing, core distal, center to edge, reaching out, grabbing, seeing those toes moving in the air, toes, feet, hands. If you just arrived in this body, you never have been in a human body before, so you don't know what it can do. Let's discover what can it do. So imagining you're an alien and you're just feeling into the possibilities of motion in that core distal relationship, center to periphery, inner to outer. And then we get the head-tail, third developmental pattern, head-tail relationship. And then we're going to go to the fourth one because I've already been there, and that is push and pull, moving forward and backward. So push-pull patterning, we start to develop this capacity to mobilize a little bit more, pushing, pulling. This could be, for a bigger human, we could do more. All of this stuff is push-pull patterning. Pushing, that was a pull, push. Finding that different capacity in the upper and lower. So when we move through these patterns, especially if we spend some time on the floor, it can be very healthy for our nervous system. If you are already overloaded and it's too much, then you're already overloaded and too much, and you might want to just come down, lay on the floor, feel the sense of the floor, and do something really small. You could just let the world come into your eyes and gently turn your head from side to side. Or you could send this easy ripple with a nod. This is again head-tail. And also an upper versus lower pattern. So, breath support, number one pattern. And it's also our number one detoxifier. That exhale. And we want to breathe down into our bellies. We want to get all the deepest breath into our diaphragm, and that's going to push down into our bellies. So imagining breathing very deep into our bodies. I'm giving a lot of information. Maybe it's too much. If some of it sticks, bravo. But I'm just going to keep moving, and I'm going to add music this time. And you are invited to join me with this moving with music, rolling around on the floor, hydrating your fascia, stimulating your lymphatic system to drain, to mobilize. Moving in any way that feels good for you, but ideally coming into a relationship with the floor. Contact improv with the floor. as I'm doing this, I'm kind of letting go of tension as I sort of expand and contract in my body, growing and shrinking, reaching out, bringing it in. Please join me, won't you? Join me on the floor. You could join me on your bed. You could join me on the couch. Just the idea is to move. More movement, more diversity of movement, in any way that feels good. Growing and shrinking with the breath. Allowing your body to hydrate, to massage itself out. And very gentle, very friendly, very yummy. Very, like a big so good to move, so good to connect to the ground. Yeah, I had a sort of stressful weekend. It was also fun, but there was a lot of stress involved last weekend. And I feel like I'm just starting to come out of that. And when I spend time with myself in my own dance with the floor, it's tremendously recuperative for me. Clears out some of the detritus, clears out some of the stuff I need to let go of. So inviting you to breathe, to roll, to connect to the floor in whatever ways feel delicious and yummy. Could be so slow, could be so delicious to go slow, to go easy, to be soft, to do less. Nourishing, hydrating, toning the nervous system. Not by doing more, but maybe by doing less. If this feels hard or difficult, make it easier. Go slower, do less. So I'm a movement junkie, and I do, but this is the kind of movement that sustains me, that allows me to do the harder things that I do, like pole dancing, ballet, choreography, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna put on one more song, and then I'm gonna end it. Ooh, Karen Tobjorns. Oh, I feel like I've seen your name somewhere before, probably like on somebody suggesting my friend list. Oh, this is the same song. We're gonna go back to another song. Oh, a little bit different. Take it slow, take it easy. Do what feels good. Slowly letting yourself mush around on the floor. Pretend like you're in space and there's no gravity. We're totally working with gravity, but this sort of suspension. This music has kind of a suspension to it. So please join me on the floor. You can have a mat, you can have no mat, you can be on a carpet, you can just roll around on your couch or even move in your chair. Just inviting in movement. Yeah, and I'm calling this role play because I'm rolling and playing. And rolling and playing is so much more fun than rolling and not playing. Finding different ways to connect to the ground. And maybe just staying in one position for a while and letting yourself kind of move in that position with some micro movement. Some ripples, some waves, soft and easy. Being gentle and friendly with yourself. If you can't be loving to yourself, be kind to yourself. If you can't be kind, be at least polite. Be civil. It's a Mark Walsh thing. Maybe somebody else said it too. Gentleness. As if you are your own little baby moving on the floor. huge. It could be very small. It could be very easy. It could be very cozy and comfy. It could just be easy rolling from side to side. As I do this, I can feel my sacrum getting a little bit of love. And I'm imagining a sense of freedom from my brain out through my nervous system. A sense of ease, letting that cerebrospinal fluid filter through my body, softening my jaw, softening my neck. Conducting the beautiful orchestra. Softening, melting, just the right amount for you, whatever that is. It could be like 30 seconds of it. It could be 5 minutes. It could be an hour and a half. Every body is different. Every day is different in the body. So this is just a way of tuning in and listening in. What might feel good? What might be delicious? And that's it. Just doing a little quickie for today. So anybody who joined, thank you so much for showing up. I haven't done one of these in forever. So I'm ending. Cheers, my friends.